So those are the types of things I think that we can change. Those are the types of things that in that train, when, when my friend was on that train and she was accused of being a terrorist, and I'll tell you, she's lighter skinned than I. She probably looks more white than, she looks either white or Arab. She could be either or. She does not wear the headscarf. Very normal. She goes to Harvard. And thankfully, she had a Harvard ID on her. And so she quickly showed her Harvard ID to say, no, 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 and opened up her bag and showed them that she has laptops. But she shouldn't even have to do that. And not one person in the train even stood up for her. And even after these people had attacked her, they sat down and no one even apologized. So it's the idea that maybe this could have been stopped if someone on the train had said, listen, hold on, like, what gives you the right to attack her? She's not doing anything to you. She's not here. She didn't mysteriously do something or something in a sketchy manner that might think, okay, she might have a bomb. She was literally standing there with her bag on her way back from work, you know? So it's the idea that if someone would have stood up for her, maybe that would have made a difference. Maybe that group of men that had surrounded her would have been like, okay, fine, you're right. But no one did that. And so I think little things like that, if we can start to change them, if we can start to stand up for each other and, even in the smallest degree or in the slightest bit, I think that's going to make the, small changes eventually over time.
This just happened in Boston, what you're
Yeah,
talking
on
about?
the line, which I was like, so I could not even believe that something like that happened.
Well, first of all, that is something that I think that that story is important to share because I think it can become powerful. Because honestly, when I hear that story, it makes my blood boil, and it
Yeah.
makes me feel like if I were in that situation, I would like like I have a younger sister, right? And if anybody talks shit to my younger sister, like my chest puffs up, I'm like ready to fight. You know what I mean? Or if somebody ever said something to my girlfriend or to or to somebody who's weaker. You know what I mean? It's this. I think that a lot of men feel that protective instinct, and women too. I'm sure. Just they probably don't puff out their chest. That's probably not gonna work. Um, but but at the same time, I want to be honest with myself and say that if I was in that situation and I didn't know what was going on, I didn't know what had made that person suspicious in the first place, and I kind of didn't see the whole thing unfold. Part of me would want to be I feel like I wonder would I have waited to see like is this person actually a threat? Because I don't want to jump in and start defending a terrorist and say back off this person, how dare you accuse them, and then have them pull out a bomb and kill us all either. But I think that your story should be shared because it's about because we know what the truth was of the situation. And now if something like that were to happen, being informed by the story that you just told me, my instinct is going to be protective of that person unless they've given a good reason to not be protected.
Exactly.
That's besides the color of their skin or besides something superficial that any of us could have had. And it's stories like that that can make people who may have the impulse to do the right thing but not know what the right thing to do is in that situation see
Right.
more clearly what the right thing might have been to do.
Right. Exactly. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like you said, where, your mind would think, I don't know if I would stand up for someone in the beginning. I think that's the issue that we're having in this country right now is because, like I said, at the end of the day, a white person sitting next to you could very well also have a bomb in their bag, just like the brown person across from you, right? We have no idea of knowing who is who, what is in someone's brain, what they're thinking, and that's very much it's been proven by all these things happening in this world where everyone's saying, "Oh, that person was completely normal to me. Oh, I sat in a classroom with him. I didn't know he thought of that, like that." So if there's a reason like that someone had to think that someone has a bomb in their bag, right? Like this girl, she was literally standing in the train. There's no
Mm-hmm.
reason. If there was someone else in the train who, let's say, had a bag and they left it suspiciously and
Yeah,
walked out,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
At that point in time, I agree that there needs to be something taken, some type of security measure taken to make sure that people are evacuated, or that if that person left that bag and you knew who that person was and they walked out. I don't think it's wrong to question that person or to say, hey, you left your bag. Let's say they left their bag and they get suspicions and they run. Fine. That to me is like go after that person, there's something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a difference between that and just attacking someone as soon as they walk in and they've done nothing.
Right.
We need to understand the difference between, I think, those two things, and then being able to deal with the situation at that point forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the most important thing to think about, because we can't ever understand what a reason is for someone to do something so wrong and so evil. But what we can do is try to prevent it in a way where we can understand certain situations better, and in terms of security and precautions, know how to deal with things in, like, in a smart manner.
So part of that, I think, is empowering people who want to do the right thing
Yeah.
by giving them context to know what the right thing to do is. So, like we've been talking about this example, you know, I feel like I would know the right thing to do if I were confronted with that same situation. I
Mhm.
think that in more general terms, the right thing to do is to go by, and this is a secular idea, not a religious one, but the innocent until proven guilty, right? Take that assumption and enshrine it in your heart. You know what I mean? As more of, this is how I treat other human beings. I treat every human being as if they are innocent until proven guilty. And you know what? If they are guilty and I'm defending them, so what? You know what I mean? Like, I think that's the fear that prevents people from sticking up for each other is,
Yeah.
well, what if I get it wrong? And I think that the lesson, the takeaway is, then you get it wrong and you address it immediately as soon as you get it wrong. But until that person has been proven guilty, then it comes back to the Salem witch trial thing. You know what I mean? It comes back to the Red Scare. It's the accusation itself has the power to completely flip a crowd against someone.
Right.
And the only way to fight it is for individual people to really take it to heart, to not let it happen, because it's a human impulse. I think it's an evolutionary thing. I think it's something that goes back to, my tribe versus their tribe, and who's going to survive. You know what I mean?